This video and all content on this channel is performed by a pest control professional, and it is always recommended to hire a pest control pro in your area to perform any pest control in or outside your home. Pesticides can harm you and your loved ones. Anyone who is performing the information in this video is doing so at their own risk. If you decide to try the info provided in this video, please always check with the local laws in your area and read the labels of any product you use. The label is the law.
Hey everybody, this is Jason Akers with Green Acres Pest Control. How's everybody doing? I got me some coffee. Hey Dana, nice to see you. Thank you for the follow, supporter, all that good stuff. Appreciate it. I need some coffee. It's been a long day. I'm tired. I need some coffee. So I'm going to drink some coffee at 9:30 at night and probably won't be able to sleep until 3 a.m. But hey, I need some coffee right now, so I'm going to drink some. Hope everybody's doing all right. Ready for the weekend. Is everybody else ready for the weekend? Starts tomorrow night. I hope you're ready. Ready or not, here it comes. So what's everybody up to? Everybody having a good time? Everybody ready? Looking at Discord. If you don't already know, I'm on Discord. I have a Discord channel. Every now and then the bot posts the link in the chat. I don't know the chat right off. Hello, Gee or G or hi. Hello, Dana. I have water too. I always have water. And I always have coffee. Well, I don't always have coffee. I just have coffee right now. Yeah, ask away. I don't have the phone lines open quite yet. I usually wait about 10, 15 minutes in until I open phone lines so more people are here. Now it's gone. You guys are welcome to cry because I don't have any more coffee, because I'm going to a little bit. So, let's see. What are we going to talk about? Let's talk about a comment. Where are you from, Dana? It's been nice. It was nice today. It was like 70 degrees outside today. I was enjoying it. Let me see. What is on my Discord? Let's find this picture. Scroll up. We'll go over this. I want to edit it though before I show it, because I don't want to. I mean, the comment's there. You can go and find it if you want to do that kind of work. But I want to cut. I'm just cutting usernames. I want to share a comment that I got. And I hope he's a troll, but if not, he's an idiot. And I like to share stuff like that with my audience because I don't mince words. I'm not, I'm anything but PC. Yes, you're welcome to ask a question about, well, do you want to know the difference between silverfish and fire brats? Or there are differences. Not a lot of differences, but there are differences. All right. So I want to share this picture. I don't know. Can y'all read that? I don't know if y'all can read that or not. That's a really bad picture. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay. So this is a comment that I got for those. Now, I help a lot of people with their bug problems. And so let's see. Bro, why are you selling professional grade pesticides only meant for PCOs to the average consumer? There's important reasons why it's only available to qualified registered pest control operators. You know, or should know, the reasons. Weird little face thing. And so I sent him the video that actually goes live next week. And then I say, you and I both know that only RUPs are restricted to PCOs only. I'm a PCO, for those that wonder what that is. A pest control operator, or pest control technician, pest control, whatever. And the reason that restricted use pesticides are just that is because of the extreme danger that those pesticides pose to anyone without training. Don't sit there and lie like you're someone special with some kind of hidden knowledge. I teach people how to do your job because you're more than likely too expensive or unprofessional. Do better. That's the way I answered his comment. And then he says, you are literally taking food out of families' mouths instead of encouraging people to support small local businesses. You're encouraging them to do the opposite. Little emoji thing. I don't know what that one is either. Everybody does these emojis nowadays. I don't hardly ever use emojis. All right. And then I said, that makes no sense. So teaching someone how to change their own oil in their car is somehow robbing the mechanic of a meal. I teach people how to perform their own pest control, and my customers even understand that I do this, yet they would still rather hire me to service their homes. Why do they? Because they understand the value of their dollar, and they understand that if they can't afford it, I'm not going to be an ass and keep them from taking care of themselves. Sit down, pay attention to my channel, and you might learn something. So that's the kind of post that I got just a few days ago on my channel. So how is it that I am robbing a pest control technician of a meal by teaching people how to do their own pest control? Heaven forbid I teach you guys how to take care of yourself. Any comments on that one? I'd love to see what you guys think of that. Let's see. We sprayed Crossfire, but my brother isn't sleeping in his room because we threw the infested mattress out and haven't gotten a new one yet. Will the bed bugs spread throughout our entire house? They can. Absolutely. In fact, they usually do. If people don't use the room that's been treated, the bed bugs usually do spread through the house. I have silverfish and fire brats, exterminators using Alpine. That'll kill them. Jason, I love your channel very much. It's so informative and educational as it relates to exterminating pests, especially bed bugs, which is so informative on how to successfully get rid of them. Well, thank you. How do I get rid of them? So, fire brats usually hang out in warm places like attics and around boiler rooms and stuff. They like it really hot, really humid, or really hot. In fact, fire brats aren't very common in Virginia, or I would guess Pennsylvania either, because the temperatures are much cooler and they're not so arid. You get them worse in like the middle of the summer, maybe in an attic, or worse out towards the desert where it's really, really hot all the time and arid. Now, silverfish usually come from mulch beds outside. They can come in the house and search for things like mice carcasses. They feed on the hair on a mouse body. If it's dyed, they also feed on things like silks and wool. I had a customer one time who had an ornamental rug, and the silverfish were eating the threads on the ornamental rug because it was made out of silks and all natural fibers, not any polyesters or anything like that. And so typically the way that I treat for a for a problem with silverfish is I treat the soil around the exterior of the house, around the foundation. I try to convince my customer to do away with the mulch beds, but if they still have mulch, treat the mulch like a granular pesticide, like Bifin granules or something like that. And that works really well, but it's a continual process. You have to do it monthly. Houses that get fire brats or silverfish, usually it's just because you live in an area with those bugs outside. And so you have to continuously do monthly maintenance to keep them out of your house. It's just the way it is. The same with like ants or spiders or crickets. If you just live in an area where those bugs get in, you're not the only one dealing with them. Your neighbors have them too. It's just the area you live in. So basically general pest control is what I recommend for those. And that'll help with lots of stuff, not just silverfish and stuff, but it'll also kill things like crickets and cockroaches and stuff like that come in from outside. They wouldn't have to worry about you teaching people if they were proud of their work and business. Well, yeah, because I show my customers. The thing is, I believe in educating my customers. And none of you are my customers, but I do the same thing I do online on YouTube with my actual customers in person. I will show them. I will explain to them why I treat certain areas of the house, why I do this, because a lot of times I'll go in and they'll say, wow, you're doing a lot more than so-and-so did when they came in the house. And I try to explain to them. I say, well, that's because the way this insect behaves, this is what it does. The way this spider is, this is where they like to hide, like brown recluse and stuff like that. I try to explain. That way the customer understands when they find certain pests in certain areas, this is why they're finding it. And usually I'll tell them, hey, call me. And I always ask questions. I want you to ask me a question. I don't mind answering questions for anybody because I've been doing this a long, long time and I just don't mind. I feel like that's a good way to practice customer service. Oh yeah, Brad. Hey, Brad, how are you doing tonight? Let's see. What does it mean when you get small black oval specks, find them on the floor, some even in a dryer? I'm not sure what that is. It may or may not be bugs. Probably not. I'm not sure what it is. Let's see. I think we'll be spraying the new mattress the next time we spray. Should we spray in 10, 14 days since it's the first treatment or wait longer? I usually wait once a month and that's what I do. I don't think I've ever done a follow-up for bed bugs in 2 weeks, ever, in 26 years of killing bed bugs. Let's see, I pay monthly for a service. I'm still interested in learning about my pests. I still have them after spraying monthly since October. I do have mulch. I'm definitely removing it soon. Yeah, that'll help. That will help a lot. In fact, you'll probably notice a huge reduction on lots of stuff if you take the mulch away from the house. If people have mulch, if you don't want to have to mow right next to the foundation, you can do like a plastic, like an anti-weed barrier, and then fill that with like rocks, like use stone or crushed red brick or, even cypress mulch, but you'll still get silverfish in a wood mulch. Cypress is a type of a wood tree, but the reason I say cypress is because termites won't eat it. But the thing is, you put wood mulch, I know people worry about bugs and stuff, but the number one concern and the reason that I don't put mulch around my own house is because mulch is termite food. And if the termite barrier ever breaks down around your house, let's say you treated your house for termites. Let's say you never treated your house for termites. And, the guy that's got mulch around his house is more likely to get termites in his house, whether he treated or not, than the person who has stone or just, grass around the house. You're not as likely to get termites on it. But when you put termite food right next to the foundation of your house, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars of termite damage if the termites do get in the house and start working, and eating your house. That's what I'll rubber mulch. I did rubber mulch one year and I dug it up and threw it away. That stuff stinks to high heaven. When it gets hot and the sun shines on it, even 3 years after having it down, it stinks so bad. And now they're finding that rubber mulch is actually a carcinogen. Kids that play on it in like playgrounds and stuff, it's actually really bad. So, Yeah, I took that stuff, I threw it away, and I'm replacing it with stone. I replaced half of it with stone last year, and I'm replacing the rest of it probably this year because I've already thrown all the mulch away. I just have the mat laid down. The anti-weed barrier stuff is laid down. But thing is, that rock is expensive, and I can only afford so much at a time. So, and I'm using like my wife's picky. She likes the little round, the ones that cost a lot of money. So it takes a long time to get them all in. But once they're there forever. The rocks never break down, never degrade. So, let's see. How do I prevent cockroaches from coming into my house again? Do they hibernate in the winter? It depends on the type of roach. Some roaches do kind of, lay low through the winter, like your oriental roaches, wood roaches, American cockroaches. But, if you've got things like brown banded roaches or German roaches, they live inside year round. So it depends on the type of roach you're getting in the house. Oriental roaches, a lot of people call them water bugs, even though they're not water bugs. People call them that because a lot of times they see them around their drains and stuff in their kitchens and their bathrooms. But those are more of a seasonal pest. And if they're not living in your house, they're coming in usually in the spring and the fall when the seasons change. Guy says, I'm going to call you Guy because I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that name, but I don't want to say G because it sounds like I'm saying, well, golly, gee whiz, and so I just say Guy. Anyway, I'm just so scared that they won't contact the crossfire and infest other areas. We sprayed pretty thoroughly in the infested room and adjacent areas, but it's so hard for me to relax. Oh, they'll die. I know it's stressful, but they'll die. You'll get rid of them. I had anxiety. I had horrible anxiety when I infested my own house, and I've been killing bed bugs for years. I asked my wife, I said, were you ever nervous that, I wouldn't be able to get rid of the bed bugs? And she's like, no, I knew you could get rid of them. I wasn't worried. You were worried. I wasn't worried. Silverfish and fire brats rarely infest. Usually what they do is they come in from outside. Yes, they will live in the house and they'll live outside the house, but typically if they're not getting food or stuff like that they need, they usually don't live in the house. I mean, they can, but it's typically houses that get things that have problems, like a mouse infestation or a rat infestation, or like I said, natural garments. I had a job within the last 15 years. I did a job. And I say 15 years because it doesn't happen very often. Usually silverfish that get in the house is just like one or two here or there. It's usually not, hundreds. But I had this job one time. It was for a fabric store. And what they did was they sold silk by the bolt. And that stuff's expensive. Some of it was Egyptian silk. It's very expensive fabric for reupholstering your furniture and making dresses and stuff like that. And so the silverfish were getting in and they were trying to eat holes in all of the natural fibers that they had. And that silk is very expensive. And when you're buying it by the yard and you look at it and you're like, this thing's got holes in it, it just ruins a lot of the product that you're trying to sell. And so that was a very unique situation where they had things in the actual store that the silverfish wanted to eat. And so I had to treat the store to kill the silverfish. But, so that does happen, but it's not very common. It's a very rare thing. Usually the amount of silverfish you find in a house is maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 a month, maybe. Not a lot, and they're just random ones that just happen to get in from outside and then they die because there's pesticide. But a lot of times when you're treating your house, even if you treat it yourself or if you pay somebody, pesticides typically affect an insect's nervous system. And so when the insect has crawled through the residual pesticide, and this doesn't pertain to just silverfish, this is for silverfish and ants and crickets and roaches and all kinds of bugs. In fact, a lot of the roach jobs I do, I explain to the people, when I'm doing the roach work, I'm like, hey, don't be alarmed if these things start crawling out after I'm gone, because the insect's nervous system's affected and they do weird things before they die. And a lot of that usually is coming out around you because they're dying. bugs don't usually like to come out around you unless they're dying and they're sick. So, that's usually, I mean, that's the truth. That's very common. I see 17 people in the room, only 3 likes. Let's smash a like. Brad is my cheerleader. I don't know why Brad comes in here every single week and tells everybody to like, and he must really like me. So, but Dana, you're a member. You became a supporter tonight. I put a video up live, for all my supporters. Goes live Tuesday. And I'm actually, I have a new video that I am, it's a good video. I think it's going to be good. See, the thing is, I spend a lot of time on some of the videos I do. And I'm like, this is going to be great. People are going to love this. It's going to answer a lot of questions. They're really going to like it. But I've got a video that I'm going to put up, not for this coming Tuesday, but next Tuesday, about the top 5 questions I get asked about Crossfire. And I think it's a really good video because it goes over some of the questions like, I sprayed Crossfire all over my mattress and I don't want to put sheets on my mattress because I don't think the bed bug will come in contact with the chemical. How does Crossfire still work when I've made my bed? And so I answer that question. And what was another one? The hardest part is coming up with a title for the video. But the other one was, what was it? There was 5 questions I went over. Anyway, that was one of them. And I thought that was a really good question that I get asked all the time. All the time. Let's see. My mom managed a local pest control company for many years as a kid, teenager, spraying insects, German roaches, in one of their business seafood restaurant accounts was a learning experience. It's fun to do roaches. It's really fun. I like roaches. I mean, I don't like them. I just like to kill them. It's a fun thing. I was actually talking to a guy about this today. I said, probably my most favorite thing to do with a roach account is when you go in and they look you right in the eye and they say, I know you'll never get rid of these things, but can you at least lower how many I've got? And I take that as a challenge because I love to eliminate roaches 100% to where there's no roaches left at all. And the customer can't believe it because they're like, I've had these things for years. I've paid this exterminator. I've paid that exterminator. I've bought all these chemicals and you got rid of them in 3 months. I can't believe it. And I just I look at it as a challenge and I'm like, challenge accepted. I play that chess game and I'll win every time. Love it. It's my favorite. Bed bugs and cockroaches. Sorry, my eye itches. Let's see. Thanks for easing my mind. I see them after treatments and then I feel I have so many. But that's normal. They'll come out after you treat. It's completely normal. When you treat your house for bugs, a lot of times it will chase active bugs out, and also depending on how often a month. So the way I set up my routes is I'll come on a specific day. So like yesterday or today was like the 4th Thursday. So every 4th Thursday, if I did a route today, then the 4th Thursday next month, I do the same route. And so if I'm at your house today, next month on the 4th Thursday, I'll be at your house again. That way, I'm at your house every 4 to 4.5 weeks. It's about, depending on if you have any extra days at the end of the month. And so that works really good for a retreat. And I don't like to tell somebody, like, I'll be at your house on the 1st or I'll be at your house on the 2nd, because, I mean, the 1st could lie on a weekend and that would annoy people, or the 2nd or whatever. So I just say the 1st specific day of the week, like the 1st Monday or the 2nd Monday or the 3rd Monday or whatever. And that way they get used to me coming on the same day every month. And it's just a matter of counting on the calendar. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, he'll be here today. You know, that kind of thing. And that works really well. But what I've noticed is on months that you have a little bit of a longer, like January, March, 31 days, because you're stretching so far between treatments, it's really common that after you treat, like in February, like if I treated in February because I was there in January, and January has 31 days, they might see a few stragglers kind of wander out and act drunk and die on the floor, and they see more bugs because it's been a little longer than 4 weeks between visits. And so they start to see some bugs, or they see some bugs after I've sprayed. That's really common. Also, with February specifically, because it's such a short month, it's only 28 days long, you find that people don't have bugs at all. Like when I come back in March, like if I'm at your house on the 4th Thursday in February, I'm at your house the 4th Thursday in March. It's exactly 4 weeks away because February is only 4 weeks long. And it's perfect. And people are like, I can't believe you're here already? Already? Has it been that already? And it's like, well, yeah, it's been a month, but you didn't notice it because you haven't had any bugs because it's been just right at 4 weeks. So people will say that every time. But it works really good on a monthly schedule. I don't like Sterafab. Sterafab's alcohol, and I don't like to use it with Crossfire specifically. Alcohol is a solvent. Sterafab is like a soapy solvent with alcohol in it, and I don't like to use it places that I've used Crossfire. So that's why I don't use Sterafab, because it's too much of a risk of it coming in contact with the Crossfire and causing problems with the Crossfire. Roaches aren't hard to deal with. Rotation of baits and growth inhibitors and limit proteins. Yeah, roaches are easy. Roaches are fun. They're really fun. It's really fun. My favorite thing to do on a roach account, and it's not, so what you do is you go through and you treat with like Alpine or something and baits and stuff like that. And then you treat in a wall void with a flushing agent, especially like a wall void behind a refrigerator where it's nice and warm. And every single crack, every crevice, the roaches just start pouring out of the wall and running all across that fresh Alpine I just sprayed on cracks and crevices. And they just die everywhere. And the customer sees that and they're like, holy cow, I didn't know I had that many bugs in here. And they can't believe it. But the thing about roaches is, now this is something that's different between roaches and bed bugs. If you see, 2-3 roaches, you usually have 100 times more than that hiding in the walls, hiding out in the house. But if you've got 1, 2, maybe 3 bed bugs, that might be all you got. Like I talked to a lady earlier and she was talking to me about how many bed bugs she's seen, and she's seen 1 and she can't find any more. And they're like, well, do you think I should treat? Do you think I should go ahead and treat? And I said, well, yeah, I would treat, but it's very possible that you can just have 1 bed bug. It is possible. If you brought it from school, if you brought it from a friend's house or a neighbor's or something like that, it's very highly possible that it is just 1 and they're just getting started, and you eliminate that one and you eliminate your problem. So don't just assume because you've seen 1 that you're completely infested. It's not like roaches where you see 1 and there's many that you can't see. Bed bugs aren't like that. Usually it's just a few. It's not as many. They're a lot slower to reproduce. They don't reproduce nearly as quickly as roaches, and they don't have near as many babies either. Let's see, Sarah. Let's see. I have a question, please. I sprayed 2 times 1 month apart, and the second treatment was last Wednesday, and I got 0 since Wednesday. Until today, I woke up with 2 bites. Is it normal? Are you sure the bites came from bed bugs? Because just because you got bug bites doesn't mean it's bed bugs, especially if you've been 2 months without any bites. Have you used Apprehend? I have not. I don't like the idea of my customers getting itchy. One of the side effects of that specific mold spore is itchy skin and having weird reactions like that. So I haven't used it myself, not yet. Now, if for some reason Crossfire stops working as good as I get really, really good results with Crossfire. I've never had a problem with Crossfire. And so I'm not too worried about switching over to Apprehend, personally. I know they claim 90 days, but I've heard different from exterminators that say they have to spray more frequently than 90 days. So I don't necessarily think that it's the best thing in the world. I know people get good results with it, but personally, I'm not ready to switch or even try it. Not yet. Let's see. Yes, bed bugs will move through the home, and let's see. Let's see. Greg Buffalo, Apprehend is overrated. What the company claims it can do is far away from what it actually does. Well, even the people with Crossfire claim it can do things it can't actually do. I mean, the people at MGK, when Crossfire first came out, they claimed that Crossfire lasts a year. I've never had Crossfire last a year on a bedbug infestation, and I've been using it for almost 7 years. So let's see. Yes, sir. Inspected walls, rooms every hour for bedbugs. Let's see. I found bedbugs in various rooms, mattresses, red bites on legs. Let's see. I would say use Google. So what I do, Aaron, is I research that stuff. That's how I figure out how to do that stuff. But the best thing to do on a Google business profile is to get people to give you ratings, and that's the best thing. You don't need optimization. No, I've never optimized my business page ever. I just have people go on and rate me. That's all. It's been 1 month since started to treatment. It is okay to still get bites. So what I tell people to do when they have a bed bug situation is if you're treating yourself, treat once a month for 3 months. So it's 90-day treatment for 3 months because you're not a professional. And even if you are a professional, I still recommend to treat once a month for 90 days. And that's the best. It's the best way to do it. Best way to go about getting rid of bed bugs. You may get bites 4 or 5 weeks after your initial treatment. That's why if you're still getting bites and you still believe you have bed bugs, it doesn't hurt to treat 1 more time or 2 more times even. Because like I said, with a consumer that doesn't really understand exactly, may not understand exactly the right spots to get. I mean, even exterminators miss. Yeah, they're not everybody. I mean, we're all human. We all make mistakes. And so even an exterminator can make a mistake. And so what I tell people is just figure on once every 30 days for 90 days. And that's really effective. I've never had a problem where Crossfire didn't work in a 90-day plan like that. As long as someone wasn't reinfesting their house. As long as people follow the rules. Like washing your sheets, washing your comforter. Do the laundry. Try to keep up clutter and stuff like that. It helps. Don't let people who keep bringing bed bugs in your house come to your house and hang out with you because they're bringing bed bugs in your house. Stuff like that. As long as people follow the rules, the bed bugs disappear. They don't have them anymore. So, the problem with Apprehend, Brian, is the effects that it has on people. That's why I don't use it. That's why I haven't tried it. I researched every pesticide for my company before I buy it. I like to know what can happen to people that are exposed to a chemical that I use, or could potentially be exposed to a chemical that I use. Because if you're using it around the band of the bed and the bedroom and places where, even after drying, people are going to go in the room, people are going to sleep in the bed, they're going to make the bed, they're going to lay in the bed. And there have been studies that link that specific spore, because it's been used for a long time in gardening, that people do have skin reactions, rashes, itchiness, and it does bother them when they're exposed to surfaces that have been treated with it. And so that's why I haven't used Apprehend in my own business. I'm not saying it isn't a great chemical. I think it probably is a great chemical. A lot of exterminators have really good results. You do. But I don't promote it on my channel. I don't talk about it on my channel because I don't think it's something that a consumer can do. The stuff that I recommend is stuff that people can do on their own, that they don't need an exterminator for. And you and I both know that the equipment used to actually even spray Apprehend it does have a learning curve to it. It's not something that some B&G, baseboard jockey like me can just go right in and use. I probably could learn how to use it, but it's not something that I would want to use until, more research has come out better for it, if that makes any sense. Now, I don't mind it. I've recommended companies that use it. In fact, my Canadians up north, they can't get Crossfire, but they can get Apprehend. And I've recommended that they call an exterminator and hire somebody with Apprehend to kill their bed bugs, because they don't have Crossfire up there. And if I didn't have Crossfire, I'd have no problem using Apprehend. I'd have no problem trying it. I would just inform my customers, look, this is the side effects. These are the things they found. If you want me to still use this in your house, I will. And most people probably will agree to use it if they think that it will work. But that's just how I do with all my pesticides. I'm very particular. How often and how long to treat for roaches? My tiny house is 130 square feet. How long? What do you mean, how long? How long does it take to treat? 100? I mean, it wouldn't take me 25. It'd probably take me 25 minutes to treat a tiny home. You still have to pull out the fridge. You still have to, check behind the stove and bait all the places you bait. And it's a lot. It's a lot to do, even in a 130 square foot tiny home. Probably still take me about 15 to 25 minutes, maybe. It depends on how clean the house is, how picked up it is. Tempo dust I've never used. I use Alpine D dust if I use a pest control dust. The guy I know who uses Apprehend only uses it for people who can't afford his heat treatments. I've seen it fail in multiple homes. Let's see. Definitely need to educate clients on how to not reinfect. I had an apartment manager who would come home and sit on a couch after work every day before cleaning up. Let's see. When I treat for cockroaches, I tell the customer 3 to 6 months, maybe longer, to get rid of a cockroach infestation. The reason, if it's German roaches, and the reason that is because German roaches hatch every 28 days. And so you have a new reinfestation coming up every month from eggs that have hatched. You also have problems where roaches build resistance to pesticides incredibly quickly. You can use pesticides from my Amazon page, and they're professional grade, pesticides. You can use it, but the problem is that if you don't understand what you're doing and you don't mix the chemicals properly, and you don't apply them properly, you can absolutely breed in your own house a chemical resistant cockroach, or cockroach that will not die from the pesticides that you've applied. And it takes about 90 days to build that type of a resistance. So what you have to do is you have to buy multiple different products, and you have to rotate your products. You have to rotate your bait. You have to rotate your insecticides. You have to rotate your IGRs. You can't use the same pesticide every month. If you do, you'll build resistance in your cockroaches. You can get by with using the same products 2 months in a row, but anything outside of that, you use something different every single time. I try to rotate my chemicals every month. I use a different pesticide every single month, because my goal is to get rid of the cockroaches within 3 to 6 months, which is what I tell all my customers within 3 to 6 months. The thing is, if you're trying to kill cockroaches, German cockroaches on your own, you are going to spend more money doing it yourself than just hiring a professional. The reason is because of the amount of money you have to invest in all the different products in order to keep that rotation going. I recommend 2 to 3 different active ingredients for your liquids and at least 2 to 3 different baits. And if you use a dust, make sure the dust is a different dust like boric acid or something like that you use like under a refrigerator, maybe behind in a wall void or something like that. And that way you're using all these different active ingredients so that your bugs don't build resistance. Gentrol is a good IGR. Nygaard is also a good IGR. And if you go and actually price all those chemicals, you're going to spend in probably one drop $250 to $500. And that's just one chemical shipment is going to cost you between $250 to $500. And $250 to $500 can get you, can easily get you, $500 could probably get you an initial and several months follow-up of pesticides. So it's worth it to hire somebody to kill roaches if you can afford it, because the chemicals, the good ones, the ones that work, are expensive. Mr. Akers provides critical, serious pest control advice at 50 years old now. It might be time to start a pest business. I'm 43. Exciting to control bugs are rewarding, keep homes and businesses protected. It's fun. I like it. That's why I do it. I do it because I like it. I started in the pest control field when I was 6 years old. First job I ever did, I don't know if I've told this story or not, but the first job I ever did with my dad was they had an attic space. And to give you an idea, this is my mouse pad. That's how big the hole for the attic access was. The house was built like turn of the century, and that's how big the hole was. And the woman was scared of snakes. And so she had these mothballs, and my dad tried to explain to her that mothballs wouldn't do anything for snakes, but she wanted somebody to go up in her attic and spread her mothballs in her attic. She was an elderly woman. She couldn't do it herself. So he sent me up in the attic in a hole this big. I was the only one that could fit. I remember while I was up in the attic putting mothballs in her attic, he was telling her how irritated he was that the attic spaces were so small when they built that house. So he said they must have just had midgets doing all the work in the attic, because that's the way my dad talks. And I was just laughing in the attic thinking, I'm not a midget, I'm just a kid walking around in the attic, putting mothballs in this woman's attic. And she called me. There's 3 whole boxes of paradichlorobenzene mothballs. Stunk to high heaven. They were awful. I was wearing gloves and everything. It was awful. And then at 10:30 at night, she called my dad and she said, can y'all come back out here? I know this is a lot of trouble. I'll pay you. I don't mind, but I can't sleep. You got to come back and get them mothballs out of the attic. And so my dad came in. He got me up at school night and everything, came in my room, got me up out of bed, took me to her house, put me back in that hole, that big. And I went around and picked up every single one of them mothballs, and she gave me a nickel for every one of them mothballs I picked up. I had so many nickels that I could buy gumballs out of the nickel machine, because I used to have nickel machines when I was a kid at the grocery store. And at the when I would go to the grocery store with my mom, I would always buy a gumball in the nickel machine. And I got so mad when they went up to a quarter, because all my nickels wouldn't fit in that gumball. I couldn't get them anymore. I couldn't get no more gumballs. But that's it. That's how long. And now I'm 43, and I'm here doing YouTube videos for free, just talking about bugs. And I just, I really like it. When it comes to YouTube videos, you don't really make any money. And I just like to sit here and help people because I really like my job. When you like what you do, you don't work a day in your life. Every day you work, it's exciting, it's fun. And like I tell my customers, I tell them, I'm like, if you ever have a problem, call me. I want to come to your house. I want to take care of the problem because I love this job. And there ain't no bug that can play chess better than me. I kill them, but ain't no bug going to get better than me. So, hey, Jason, sorry if I'm being annoying, but I really wanted to know if you think bed bugs will still die from the crossfire if nobody is sleeping in the room. They can, potentially. If the bed bugs get in the chemical, they can die, but they have to cross the chemical. It's much easier to kill bed bugs if you are the bait. It's easier. If you treat the mattress and then you lay on the mattress and the bed bugs have to crawl up the mattress to get to you, that's really good. They'll come out of their hiding spots and they'll bite you, but they'll crawl over the bed to do it and they'll die. And it's very effective. If you are not using the room, it is very likely that the bed bugs will go dormant if they don't wander around the house to try to find you. If they wander around the house, they may get into the chemical residual and die there, or they'll avoid it because they may just be walking through the middle of the floor, and you're not supposed to spray the middle of the floor with crossfire. It won't work anyway. Even if you do, it won't work. So I'm sorry. I thought I explained that good enough. I hope I explained it good enough now. Let's see. Sarah B says, I just found a live bed bug. Tell me, is it normal? Please. I put it in a Ziploc to see how long it's going to take it to die since it's been a week since the treatment. It may not die at all if you put it in a Ziploc bag. The best way to make sure it dies is to take it and do like this while it's in that bag and kill it, because they don't always die. After, if they haven't, especially if they have, that's another question I answer in next week's video, is how come the bed bug crawled across the chemical and it didn't die? I actually answer that question in next week's video on Tuesday. That's another one I asked because it's a really common thing. People ask me all the time. I actually had a lady one time who was catching them in a baby jar and keeping them in a baby jar. And I was like, you can't do that. You need to let them crawl back and forth off the chemical multiple times and they'll die. They're much more likely to die if you leave them alone and let them crawl back and forth through the chemical and become double, triple, quadruple exposed. The thing is, if you walk through sewage, you probably won't die. But if you swim in sewage, or you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, you're more than likely to die because you've been double, triple, quadruple exposed to it. But if the bug just goes across it one time and he's not exposed to enough of the chemical to die, well, then he won't die. So what happens, the main way that bed bugs die, and let me use this box. Let me use this box to explain it because I think this will be a good way to explain it. If you've got a mattress, okay, and around the top of the mattress there's a seam, and the bottom of the mattress there's a seam, and the bed bug crawls up over the mattress, bites you, and then goes back down and squeezes into that seam right there. Well, you treat in this seam. So it's squeezed in there, and now it's there in that seam, laying in chemical. It's going to get exposed to a lot more chemical than what it was exposed to when it just crawls up to bite you. You see what I'm saying? It's going to work a lot better when the bug is in there like that. It's not as simple as the floor is lava. Okay, you know that game you used to play as a kid, The Floor is Lava, where you throw pillows and blankets and try to avoid stepping on the floor because if you stepped on the floor, you died? Pesticides don't work that way. It's not that simple. They have to be exposed. I mean, if it's exposed to it, hopefully it will eventually die. But it may not have been exposed to any at all. Because when you spray a chemical and it comes out of the tip and it sprays, you've got a droplet, 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 droplet. The further away it gets from that tip, they will spread out like that. Okay? So now the droplets are hitting a surface. Well, now there's only 2 droplets there. And the bug crawls here between the 2 droplets. You see? Even though it looks like you sprayed there, there may not be as much of a residue there on the surface. That's why it's really important to treat in the seams and the cracks and the crevices, because bugs are naturally drawn to the cracks and the crevices. The only bug that I treat that isn't drawn to cracks and crevices are fleas. And they just lay on the floor. They're in the carpet, they're on the floor, they're everywhere. So you have to spray the whole floor. Cluster flies, they'll be all over the wall outside. But, most bugs, they want to squeeze in this crack. Roaches, ants, silverfish, bed bugs, all bugs. They like to squeeze in a crack. So you spray in the crack because the spray is on the surface, the top, and the bottom, and all in that crack. So it's just laying up in there. It's laying in there. It's hiding. It thinks it's hiding, and really it's laying in pesticide dying. It's really common for me to go back. If I have to go back on a bedbug job and I peel that little seam back around the top of that mattress, I'll find dead bed bugs in there all the time. And there were not bed bugs there when I sprayed, but because I sprayed in that seam, those bed bugs went there after biting and they died in there. So that's usually the most common place to find dead ones, unless it's a heavily infested place. And then you might just find them laying on the floor or under the bed, like they fell off of the bed or whatever and died. So, let's see. I bought Advion gel bait, Alpine WSG, and boric acid powder. I drilled small holes in my cedar walls and put the powder in the walls. If I notice anything, I'll hire a professional. Wish you were closer. Let's see. Not too nervous here as a kid. Crawling under homes for mom's pest company. Pest control stories are exciting. Knowing that bed bugs, roaches, and scorpions in the ceiling. Think the floor is lava. Can they hide in light outlets on the ceiling? They can. They can hide in light outlets on the ceiling, but they have to get to you. They can't get a blood meal from a light bulb. They still have to come to you to bite. I sure wish you were in upstate New York. I took for almost $1,000 for a single room treatment for bed bugs. See, I don't do single room treatments. That's a scam. A single room treatment is a way to get money out of people, get them for whatever you can. And that's just not the right way to be. The way that you deal with bed bugs is you do every single room. That's how you do it. In fact, the Department of Agriculture actually wrote a really good article. I need to find that article. I really do. I should find that article and link it on my videos because it's an amazing article. It was put out maybe 7 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, somewhere around that time. And they go over why pest control technicians are having such a hard time getting rid of bed bugs in Virginia. And their number one reason was because they're not treating enough. When you go into a single family home, you treat every single room. You treat all the bedrooms, even guest rooms. You treat the living room, you treat the bathroom, you treat the kitchen, you treat the garage, you treat everywhere because the people go everywhere. And so what happens is when you track through the house, you might get a bed bug on your sock, or you might get a bed bug on your shoe, or you might get a bed bug in the cleat underneath the bottom of your shoe. And now you track them into your living room and it falls off there. Or you go to use the bathroom in the middle of the night and one's on your PJs and it falls off and goes around the commode. You treat every single room. The reason you treat every single room is because the bed bugs will be in every single room. They may be sporadic. It may just be 1 or 2 in another room compared to like ground zero where you found the original problem. But they will track through the house. And not only that, if you go sit in the living room and you start watching television in the living room, they will find you in there and they will sit on the couch and they will watch your favorite episode of X-Files, sit there right with you and watch it and bite you while they're watching it. You are their popcorn. It's just the way it is. And to treat one room is just a way to scam your customers out of whatever money you can get them to give you. Because you may say, oh, it's going to cost $3,600 to treat the whole house, but I could come do one room for $1,000. That's like the guy that says, but wait. What would you pay? Well, we could do it for $1,000. Doesn't that sound good? Because it's better than $3,600, but it's not realistic. It's not what's really going to work. So, is it normal to still find them even after a month? Yes. It is normal to find bed bugs after a month using Crossfire every 2 weeks, or every week, or every 3 weeks. It's normal to find bed bugs in a month. It's completely normal. I don't think that's a legit website, Crypto. Any words of encouragement or advice for people dealing with bed bugs? I'm terrified that they'll spread before we can do the second treatment of Crossfire. They don't spread that fast. Bed bugs are very slow to spread. They're very slow to reproduce. They're very slow to spread. It takes them months to reach a population where they actually start exponentially reproducing. Most people that just got a bedbug infestation do not spread bed bugs because there's not enough of them to hitch a ride on you and go anywhere. Bed bugs can be in an unfinished basement. I have found them in unfinished basements. I have found them in kitchens. I have found them in kitchen cabinets. Now, usually it's a pretty extreme case, but I have found them in unfinished basements. I have found them in garages. I have found bed bugs just about everywhere indoors. Never found any outside, but I have found them just about everywhere indoors, except the attic. I've never found bed bugs in an attic, but I have found them in not crawl spaces. I found them in basements. So the only two places in a house I probably have not found bed bugs is in crawl spaces and attics. That's the only two places. Let's see. I'm going to look that site up. Everfresh Hub. Let's see. I'm going to look over here for a minute. Oh, hello, Megan. So they have it here. 1983. Yeah, I would not buy it. All right, so here's the thing about Crossfire. It's really good. So that means there's going to be people out there trying to scam you and sell it to you thinking I'm going to get something really good, and it's not. The place that I would buy it is like Do Your Own Pest Control, Do It Yourself Pest Control, those websites. I know I have an Amazon page that links Crossfire there and everything, but I would probably still go to different websites and buy it. It's usually cheaper on Amazon. You probably will get what you're buying on Amazon, but there are instances where people have not gotten their Crossfire like they were supposed to. And so you may not want to get Amazon, or at least make sure it's Amazon guarantee, like they've got that guarantee that you're going to get what you say you're going to get, what they say you're going to get. No, demand does not work for bed bugs. Thank you, Greg. No. Demand, you know what demand works on? Nothing. Demand is garbage. I hate demand. I have never liked it since the first day it came out. We got a sample bottle of demand. My dad, when they first started manufacturing it, and that stuff is awful. It is no good. I didn't like it at all. So that's my opinion of demand. I've never had good results. There are better, much better, equal or better price point available than demand pesticides. I think I said all that right. I usually treat every room, Sarah, like every baseboard Now, I don't go in the cabinets in the kitchen for bed bugs or anything, but I do treat every baseboard. I mean, you still got to add stuff to it. There are things that work just fine on mosquito. I mean, you know what works good on mosquitoes? Bifenthrin, Talstar. Talstar is cheaper than Demand, and it does a better job. It lasts 90 days on mosquitoes. I'd rather use Talstar. I don't like Demand, but Demand is one of those first microencaps, and they just weren't very good when they first started coming out with those. They're better now. Much better now than they used to be, and maybe Demand has changed their formulation, but I don't like it. I've never really liked it. But Talstar kill mosquitoes is cheaper. So, let's see, one room treatment. Sales guys will sell anything. That's right. That's the problem, Brian. That's the problem. Is a sales commission. The guys just need to make a sales commission. All they're worried about is feeding their family, not killing your bugs. And that's the problem with salesmen. I'm a salesman. I'll look right at a customer and I will tell them, I want what's best for you. I don't care if you buy from me or not. Do you want to get a cheaper price? Let me give you some names of some people that can probably do it cheaper than me. And I will give them names. I will drop Dotson's name every day because they're cheap. And I'll say, you can call Dotson. Dotson will come out there. They'll take care of your bugs. And I mean, you won't pay them as much as me, but you know, I've been doing this for 37 years and I'm pretty experienced. I know what I'm doing. And that's what I tell people. And they still hire me. I don't know why. I'm not a very good salesman. I tell people not to buy from me, and they still buy from me. I don't know. There are times I price high just so I don't get the job, and they still make me go do it. I'm not complaining. I like what I do, but there are some things I hate to do. I'll tell you the one thing. Now, I talk about how much I love my job. I talked about that for like 10 minutes, went over how much I love my job. You know what I hate? The one thing that if I never had to do another job ever, I would die happy. It would be so wonderful. Is flea work. I hate fleas. I can't stand fleas. Fleas are, I hate them. I really hate fleas. And and it's the one thing about my job that I really just can't stand. So, Kathy says, I'm not seeing bugs, but still have eggs hatching. Exterminator sprayed 3 times. I did Crossfire 1 time a month for 3 months. Spraying again 2 weeks. I can't afford all this. I'm on disability. Eggs are still hatching, but you're not seeing bugs? What's hatching out of the eggs? Invisible bugs? If you're not seeing bugs, how do you know they're hatching if you're not seeing bugs? If you're not seeing bugs, you're not seeing bugs. You'll see babies too. Bed bugs are all visible. One of the things, a lot of people believe that bed bugs can't be seen when they're babies. And that's not true. Every single stage of bed bug is visible. I got bed bugs right here. I can show you what they look like. But I got every stage. They're all visible. Even the eggs are visible to the naked eye. You can see them. If you're getting bit by invisible bugs, it's not bed bugs. It's something else. What is a time frame that is considered not normal to find a bed bug after the 90 days? You could have bed bugs forever if you continue to infest your house. I had a customer that worked as a school bus driver, and his school bus was infested with bed bugs, and the school would do nothing to treat the bus. They said, oh, bed bugs can't live on a bus. They're not getting a meal often enough, which, of course, a bed bug only needs a blood meal once a year. And he continued to bring them in his house. So how did you get bed bugs? You know, do you work as a nurse? Do you work as an exterminator like me? You know, I've got a very high risk of bringing bed bugs in the house. If you get rid of your bugs, then they'll be gone. You know, like I said, 30 days is the standard of without a bite. As long as you've gone without a bite or without bugs or whatever for 30 days, you don't have bed bugs. So if you are a consumer and you're doing this on your own, you're a novice, you're trying to kill the bed bugs on your own, expect it to take you longer because you're not a professional. And it's not as easy as tying your shoes. There is some work to it. There is some work that needs to be done to be successful, and you may need several treatments. But that's just the truth. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you you could be a professional in just 1 or 2 treatments. I've been killing bed bugs for 26 years and I still make mistakes. It's just the way it is. So I can't promise you'll get rid of bed bugs in 90 days. You probably will, but I can't promise you will because I'm not there. I don't see what you're doing. I don't know. I don't know how good you're doing. I don't know how thorough you're being. I don't know if you're missing spots that I would normally get. I don't know. So, let's see, $900 heat treatment from a local pest company to start controlling bed bugs. Also treated various rooms with bifenthrin. Oh my. Can you treat 2 rooms upstairs and then be in the house downstairs? No, treat the whole house and leave. Just treat the whole house and leave. It's good for you to get out and touch some grass every now and then. You go and you treat your whole house and you go outside for a couple hours. And you come back in and it'll all be dry. That's what you do. You go outside and you open your door and you're like, the sun, like that. And then once you get over it, you go have fun and then come back and put everything together and then live in your house. That's what you do. I'm trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm sorry if I'm offensive. Not trying to be. Let's see, what's the normal rate for other company flea treatment in a home? I don't know. It just depends. I charge more. I charge a lot more than the local rate because I hate fleas and I don't want to do it. And I still get hired to kill fleas. I don't do that many flea jobs, maybe 10, 15 a year. But I know other companies are doing hundreds of flea jobs, but I just don't want it. I just don't want the work. I hate fleas. I hate fleas. So you'd have to call around and ask different companies what they charge for flea work. Some charge by the square footage. Some charge by the job. Just depends. Every company's different. And it also cost of living. That matters too. That guy's a troll. I just realized he's a troll. Bifenthrin is not a good method to treat bed bugs. Just so you know. I want to make sure that I'm on record. Talstar is not good for bed bugs. Bed bugs are pretty much completely immune to bifenthrin. That guy's a troll. So he had to be blocked. I answered your question, Singer. There's no reason to spam. Let's see. Any tips for calming down until I can do my second treatment of crossfire? I'm so afraid. Well, I mean, if you're really that afraid, you can treat about every 2 or 3 weeks. What I tell people is, all right, so when you first apply your crossfire, it's going to kill your bed bugs within about 5-10 minutes of exposure. After it dries, it takes about an hour or 2 for a bed bug to die after being exposed to crossfire. Now, this is when they're laying in it, like I was talking about earlier. Some things I don't realize I need to say because I've been doing this for so long. I just take it as, basic. It's just the way it is in my line of work. But when a bug goes and nestles in a crack, and he's laying in the chemical, but it's dry. It takes about an hour or two for the bug to die because he's wallowing all in the chemical, getting it all over him. He's going to die. And that's right after you've treated, usually within a day or two of treatment. After a couple weeks, it may take 8 hours or more for the bug to die. After after 2 weeks, usually after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you start having eggs hatching. In 6 to 10 days of laying, the eggs will hatch, and after that, the bugs will the bed bug babies don't hatch hungry. They don't eat right away. They wait about another week to 10 days to eat because they're eating to shed their skin. That's why they engorge on blood and they shed their skin, and then they wait again to bite another week to 10 days. So you figure from the first day you spray, the eggs that were laid that day are going to be biting you in about 3 weeks, 2.5 to 3 weeks after you do your initial treatment. So if you want to try to kill those bugs quicker, because at that point it's taking anywhere from 8 to 12 hours for one to die, they're able to get out, they're able to bite you and cause you more discomfort, then you would absolutely be perfectly within your, legal rights, whatever words you want to use, to spray again in order to get that back up to that, hour mark. So they're dying a lot faster. They're still dying even after 2 to 3 weeks. They're still dying from the chemical. The chemical is still very much effective and still will kill them. It just takes longer for them to die. But after that 3-week period, that's when it starts to take a lot longer and more like a day. And they're really much of a nuisance. And that's usually when I tell my customers, when you get to like that 4 to 4.5 week period, that's when you want to retreat again. Basically a month. So. Let's see. I worry about people not using Crossfire effectively, not killing all of them, creating resistance. Are there any signs that bed bugs are becoming resistant to Crossfire? Now, I have not noticed any resistance to Crossfire at all. I haven't noticed any resistance. So I personally, and I'm in bed bugs all the time, I haven't noticed any resistance. But Crossfire is a new chemical. It hadn't been out long enough. The thing that you'll notice when resistance starts, it has nothing to do really with a consumer and the way they treat. It has a lot to do with the industry. So let's show you. Let's go over some labels. So what I always say, the label is the law. That's basically the directions, okay? The directions of use, the level of active ingredient. Let me explain to you what the industry does that builds resistance in bugs to pesticide. All right, and this is an industry problem. This isn't so much a consumer problem. So if you go to, let's say, Walmart, or actually, let's not go to Walmart. Let's just search for home defense bed bug. All right. So this is the common thing that people will go to the store and buy when they have bed bug problems because it's on the shelf and it's right there at Home Depot. They've got it at Amazon, Walmart, Ace Hardware, Home Depot. Basically, you can just go to the store and buy this. You don't have to buy it and wait a week for it to come in the mail. So if you go and you buy, let's see, which one is going to give me a good, maybe Home Depot might give me a good label. So the way you do this is you click the link and you look at the active ingredient. It's really hard to see. I can't read the active ingredient in that. Maybe I'm getting too old. Will it tell me? Let's see, maybe this one. I actually did a video on this live from Home Depot. And I went over the active ingredients in the pesticides. It's not going to show me on their websites. Let's see. How about Ace Hardware? It's so blurry. I think they're all using the same picture. I'm looking for, okay, active ingredient is deltamethrin. It won't tell me the percentage of active ingredient though. But let's look up deltamethrin. All right. Let's see. What's a good deltamethrin name brand, guys? If anybody in chat wants to give me a name for deltamethrin. Is that deltamethrin? Isn't that Demand? Isn't Demand deltamethrin? No. What is deltamethrin? I've used it. I just can't remember. DeltaGuard. There's deltamethrin, but that's for... Well, I thought this would be quicker than it is. Anyway, I went over a label. I did this live. I'll just tell you what I did. I did this live on a live stream. You can go back through my past live streams and find it. Which I want to mention, I do have a second channel for my live streams now. It's at, I'll show you, YouTube. And the only reason I did this is because YouTube likes it better when I do this. Green Akers Live. And that's my second channel. So if you're not on it, I'm going to link it. Y'all need to go and follow me there so you can get the all the past live streams. But anyway, I'm putting them all on here. Eventually, my live streams will no longer be on this channel. I will live stream on this channel. In 1 week, this live stream will go onto this channel right here. So, yeah. Anyway, get back to what I was talking about. So what actually breeds resistance? So I went over this in a video. I did a live stream and I talked about it. I went over the label for bifenthrin. Bifenthrin is what I use specifically. And home defense is actually bifenthrin. That's what it is. It's mixed about a quarter of the strength of what is recommended for bedbug control or cockroach control, or basically anything that really needs a strong bifenthrin mix, because it's mixed. It's a ready to use, which RTU, ready to use pesticide. And it is designed to kill bugs, but it's designed with a broad spectrum of bug. So like some bugs only need a quarter of the normal strength in order to be able to work, to kill bugs. But bed bugs and roaches need quadruple that strength. So what I say is a quarter of the normal strength is because bifenthrin recommends to use more active ingredient in a gallon than what is in home defense, even though home defense has bed bugs on the label. So what happens, now this is an industry problem. The industry puts bifenthrin in a jug of home defense. It's like a quarter ounce or something like it. It's not full strength of what you would need on a label to kill bed bugs, because if you get Talstar, it tells you on the label to mix so many ounces per gallon to kill bed bugs. And there's not that many ounces in a bottle of home defense. So what happens is the consumer does not understand that. They see the label, they see a picture of a bed bug on the label, and they're like, that's what I need. They take it home and they use it. Now, it's not strong enough to kill bed bugs. It may kill 20%. It may kill 80% of the bed bug infestation. But the 20% that live out of that 80% go on to reproduce, creating a chemical resistant strain. The reason those bugs didn't die is because they're naturally resistant to the chemical, if you understand. So the industry is putting out weak pesticides with a picture of a bed bug on the label. You bring it home and you treat your house with it. Now you've got chemical resistant bed bugs that won't even die from a normal strength that you would normally use for bed bugs. So what happens, crossfire, the reason I do not believe when people say, oh, crossfire is the bugs are resistant to it and people are causing resistance to crossfire, because crossfire is 13 ounces to a gallon of water. And I don't believe that the bed bugs are building resistance. I haven't seen it in the field yet, and I'm going in houses, but you cannot buy Crossfire. There are a couple of products that have Crossfire in it. So Harris makes a Crossfire type product. It's a 5-minute bedbug kill is what it's called. It's a Harris product, but it's mixed full strength. It's actually mixed exactly what you would mix it on a bottle from MGK. The bottle of Crossfire that comes from MGK, the active ingredient is the exact same amount. The aerosol Crossfire and the aerosol foaming Raid spray that's basically Crossfire in a can, both of those are the exact same active amount of active ingredient. So it's not a lower amount of active ingredient. It's the exact right amount that you would need to kill bed bugs. So I haven't noticed the industry moving in the same direction as it has with other pesticides yet. Now, one problem is I've noticed is that MGK has come out with a product called Samari. Samari is basically Crossfire, but for cockroaches, and it's mixed a lot weaker than Crossfire. So my fear is that because there's this new product that the industry is pushing, which is a weaker version of Crossfire, that eventually that will be pushed to the general public. It's a weaker version. The general public will get their hands on it, start using it, and then Crossfire will stop working. Because that's typically the way that dominoes get knocked over, is it starts with one weak pesticide that everybody has access to. They don't really understand, even if they do the job just like I would do it, because you can. You can buy a bottle of Home Defense. You can spray it and you can apply it in the exact same way that I apply my pesticide. And it will be very effective for some bugs, but it won't be effective for things like cockroaches or bed bugs or fleas because it's not mixed properly for those bugs. If you understand. So it's not that the people, the consumer is growing a chemical resistant strain. It's the companies like Bayer and Dow and Syngenta, all these big manufacturers of pesticides. They don't want people to poison themselves. So they release a weaker pesticide to you because they're afraid that you're stupid, which most people are. Most people will not apply the chemical correctly. That's why I'm here. I'm here to tell you how to do it correctly because, like that comment I went over earlier and that guy talking about restricted and it should only be restricted to PCOs and stuff like that. That comment is why my channel is here, is to teach you the right way to do it, because a do-it-yourselfer is never going to hire a pest control technician. That's the definition of do-it-yourself. You're going to do it yourself. Why not teach a do-it-yourself person how to do it correctly so they don't poison themselves or build a chemical resistant strain of bugs that nobody can kill, not even the professional. So I spent a lot of time talking about that, didn't I? That was a really long answer to that question. Yeah, that was a long time. Yeah, temperate has been used a long time. And the longer a chemical is out, you will notice that bugs will start to build resistance. But Dow, so I went, not Dow, it was Bayer. So when I went, now I just got my license extended today. I had to do my recertification class today. But about maybe 6 to 8 years ago, I went to a class, and they had a guy from Bayer there. And Bayer makes pesticides, like the Bayer aspirin, the same company. They make a lot of pesticides. And he said they did an experiment, and I think they used bifenthrin, either bifenthrin or cypermethrin, one of them. And they did exactly what I said. They took a quarter of the regular strength, and they exposed German cockroaches to it. And they killed 80% of the population. The 20% that survived, they gave them a 50% stronger concoction. And they got about 30% of the roaches to die. And then they gave them full strength and they couldn't get any roaches to die. And it took about 90 days for them to do that. And that was a very interesting study that I watched. And so that's how I know from watching the pesticides people buy at the market, I kind of know, like whenever I go to the grocery store, I will go to the pesticide aisle, or I will stop and I will look and I'll be like, what is the consumer using? Because I don't want to use it. I really don't want to use it because I know if I use it, it's not going to work. So I always do that. I'm like, that's my research is looking at the pesticides to see what people are exposing their bugs to, so I know what not to use. Dollar General is a good place to go and look at the aisles and see what kind of chemicals they've got now. Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, but Dollar General and Family Dollar are like, it's like, I don't know, people like to shop in those awful stores, but they are just, I hate them stores. I can't stand them. They're like a Spirit Halloween. They show up in some of the oddest places and yet they never go away. Now, Spirit Halloween does, but Dollar Generals don't ever go away. Family Dollar, they're there forever. And they'll crop up in the middle of an open cow field. You're like, what the heck? Did the cow field sell to Dollar General? How'd they get there? And it's like in the middle of nowhere. But there's a Dollar General there. It's the way Walmart used to be. Walmart used to be, you'd find a Walmart in the middle of nowhere. It's just a Walmart. And now it's Dollar General. Like they took a page out of Walmart's book from like 20 years ago. I've put my faith in exterminators far too long. That's why I'm controlling my own destiny. You should become an exterminator. I definitely can see that. I often see roaches and bed bugs in same apartment complex. If someone does that does crossfire to treat roaches and see bed bugs getting across contamination and resistance. Let's see. My wife thought I was getting my pesticide ideas from the Home Depot shelf. I was like, no, you can't get a worthwhile bedbug pesticide off the shelf there. Well, see, that's why I use Crossfire, because it's not widely available. Alpine's not widely available. Crossfire is not widely available. Temperate is not widely available. Imidacloprid, now they do have imidacloprid granules now, but they're very expensive. They're very effective on ants and stuff. They're fantastic, but they're very expensive, and so most people don't use them. There's a lot of pesticides that I use that just aren't available. It's like and by widely available, I mean you can't go down to the store. So the common thing that people do when they find bed bugs or roaches is they go right to the store. They look for pictures of roaches on the bottle, or they look for pictures of bed bugs on the bottle, and they're like, I'm going to get that. That'll kill. That'll take care of my problem. But truthfully, it won't. It'll just make their problem worse. And now they're out, $50, $80? Some of that stuff is high. And people will tell me that Crossfire is too expensive. I can't afford it. And I'm like, it's $30 to $40 a bottle. Have you priced at Home Defense? That crap's expensive, and it's like mostly water. You're pretty much buying a bottle of water, and it's like, I don't know. You figure if it's a quarter of an ounce in 1 gallon, well, you're buying a gallon of water minus 1/4 of an ounce of pesticide. That's what you're buying in Home Defense. So that's why I tell people you're better off buying a concentrate and mixing it yourself. And Crossfire comes pretty easy because it's a 13-ounce bottle, and you mix the whole bottle within the gallon, and the bottle's gone. You triple rinse your bottle, slice it, throw it away. It's really simple. But Alpine, apparently, I wish my son was here. He can pronounce the name for Alpine. Dinotuifran, I don't know. It's pretty good chemical. I like it. DDT, bed bugs are resistant to DDT. So what happened with DDT is DDT had been used a long time. Now, this is another thing I should go over in my channel. I did go over this in my channel before about DDT. But DDT won't kill bed bugs. Not anymore. Bed bugs are completely resistant to DDT. One of the reasons they outlawed DDT, except not just for chemical exposure to humans, but also bed bugs had started to build complete resistance to DDT. And so what happened was they started researching synthetic pyrethroids. They put a lot more research and development in synthetic pyrethroids when DDT was getting ready to be banned, because that's really what replaced DDT. Synthetic pyrethroids work in a lot the same way as DDT used to do, but it's safer for humans because it's based on pyrethrins, which are natural pesticides. Synthetic pyrethroid is just a man-made duplicate of pyrethrins. So the body, what they do is they take the molecule. I say man-made duplicate. Really, it's the same molecule that's been just enhanced to last longer. And so you get something like a pyrethrin that is that now can last for 30 days or 45 days or whatever. And so that's what we used for many years on bed bugs. It worked really well. But the bed bugs have started to build resistance to those because that's what the public has their hands on all the time. The public gets the synthetic pyrethroids on the shelf. They're all mixed super weak. And then they end up building these chemical resistant strains of bed bugs. So now they come out with another family of pesticides called neonicotinoid. A neonicotinoid is a nicotine-based pesticide. It's not a pyrethrin. They still have to get from something. They have to get the pesticide from something. And so they pull it out of nicotine because nicotine is toxic. And they create these neonicotinoids, which that's what Crossfire is predominantly, a neonicotinoid. And it attacks the bug in a different way. So the mode of action is different than a pyrethrin, where a pyrethrin impacts sodium channels. A neonicotinoid doesn't work that way. And so the bug hasn't built resistance to them yet. And so that's what we're using now. And that's why you'll see a lot of people will use like Alpine WSG, or they'll use Crossfire or Tempered, because they're all neonics. They're all of the same general family of pesticides. Like the synthetic pyrethroids are a family of pesticides: bifenthrin, deltamethrin, cypermethrin, permethrin, all these different synthetic pyrethroids. They're the same family. They intercept sodium channels. They mess with sodium channels in the nervous system. That's how they work. That's how they kill a bug. It's still a nervous system failure, but it's different. And so and that's why we're using neonics now, is because bed bugs have built resistance to pyrethrins and pyrethroids. And that's what it says on the bottle of Crossfire. If you look at the bottle of Crossfire, it says right on it, 4 pyrethroid resistant strains of bed bugs. That's what it's designed for. But yeah, it's the market has gotten incredibly better at actually controlling bugs than ever before, and safer for humans than ever before. Long gone are the days of like diazinon and Agent Orange and chloridane. Although they do still use lindane for head lice, especially in the Army. But your chlorinated hydrocarbons, your what is it? Chlorinated hydrocarbons are like chloridane, and then you've got organophosphates. Organophosphates like diazinon, dursban. They're all oil based, and your oil based pesticides, it's not necessarily the pesticide that's causing you issues. It's the oil they put with it, because petroleum is harmful to humans. And so they're trying to do away with a lot of those petroleum based pesticides and move more towards water based pesticides that are safer. And it's quite a bit safer. I mean, I know I get a lot of flack on my channel. People are like, oh, you're telling people not to use like essential oils. Like my latest video is about essential oils, and man, I got some hate on that one. But essential oils are very toxic, and people don't realize just how toxic they are to people and children and pets, because they're not monitored by anybody. It's just, oh, well, Billy Bob down the street told me I should use some. Well, if Billy Bob down the street told you to use arsenic all over your house because it's an all natural ingredient, are you going to use that in your house and kill your family? I mean, I'm sure you won't be complaining about bed bugs anymore, because you'll be dead. There are all natural products out there that are highly toxic to human beings and their pets and their children. And I I don't know. People will say, well, you're synthetic. Well, it's not really synthetic. It's actually derived from natural ingredients. Everything on this world is derived from natural ingredients. Even plastic is derived from crude oil. It's a natural ingredient pumped out of the ground and make plastic out of it. Yeah, it's not safe, but I mean, you can't just manufacture something out of thin air and just make it appear. Everything's derived from something. So, but neonicotinoids are derived from nicotine. Nicotine is toxic, but the way that they break down the molecule, it's not. It's not. It's really designed to kill bugs. So, I'm not going to get into a chemistry lesson. It's above my pay grade. But I kind of understand. I've been doing this for all my life. The plan for now is to wait and then treat again with Crossfire. Then I think on the day we treat again, we'll bring in the new mattress and spray it while we spray the rest of the room. That sounds like a great idea. That's what I would do. So anyway, I appreciate everybody. Thank you for the new members to the channel tonight. That was pretty cool. I not used to getting them notifications in my ear. I'm like, what? What was that? But if you want to become a member, you can. It's like $1.99, or you could spend more than that if you want, just to support the channel. But everything is the same, no matter how much you spend. If you spend $1.99 or $15 or whatever you want to spend on my channel, but it gives you access to special like emotes for chat. I'm gonna post those real quick so you can see those. These are all made by me. I made them all. And also it gives you the ability to have access to my videos as soon as I upload them. So my videos actually, so I try my best to release a brand new video every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, and I've got one up for next Tuesday, about like the different stuff about Crossfire and stuff. And, at least I think that's what I'm doing next week. I can't remember. Let me see. What am I doing next week? I might be able to show you. Y'all want to see the thumbnail? I can show you the thumbnail. Let's see. Let's go to Studio. I'll give you a teaser. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. I like this one. Oh, yeah, it's about that guy. Yeah. That's a good one. Hold on a minute. How do I save the thumbnail? Download. Copy. And then we bring up Paint and we paste it. And zoom out. Oh no, I'd zoom in. How do I zoom out? There we go. Hold on, I'm new to this. File, new. There you go. Let's show you my thumbnail for next week. That's my thumbnail. I think that's a good thumbnail, personally. They hate this. And I really just go over, Crossfire and stuff. But anyway, it's a pretty good video. But that's for next Tuesday. That goes live next Tuesday. It's already uploaded for members. And so if you're, if you're not already a member, it does support the channel. I appreciate it. It lets me continue to do what I do with the videos and stuff and take time out of my day to do this for you guys. Okay, so Miss Ann, peppermint kills cats. Did you know that? Peppermint kills cats. Peppermint's toxic to cats. And peppermint oil actually causes SIDS in infants. Cinnamon oil and lavender oil can also cause SIDS, which is the acronym for Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. It's been linked directly to killing babies. And people will, and I see this all the time. I go in people's house and they're diffusing peppermint oil. And they don't have babies, but I hate to think that if they did, the problems they would have. Or cinnamon oil, it's the thing is people don't understand that when you take millions of leaves and you compress them down and to these big centrifuges and you make these oils out of them, that's not natural. That's not a natural process. That is actually a highly processed oil. It does not occur naturally in the environment. Yes, it's derived from natural ingredients, but so are pesticides. Like I was saying, neonicotinoids are derived from nicotine. They actually take nicotine, which is in tobacco, and in small amounts won't hurt you at all. They can, in large amounts, it can kill you. But the point is that it's a highly concentrated oil. So people will take it and spray it and say, well, I sprayed cinnamon oil on ants and it killed them. Well, how did it kill them if it isn't toxic? It killed them dead because it's toxic. And so a lot of people don't know about the real dangers of essential oils because there isn't a lot of, a lot of the studies and research gets like stamped out. Like the stuff I do, like I've got research, I've got so many videos. I think I've got 5 or 6 videos on essential oils themselves. And every time that I do a video on essential oil, I get ratioed like you would not believe, and I get buried. And it's really truth. It's like actual studies that's been done by these big college institutes and stuff that actually do these studies on these oils. And they've proven that they, not all of them are not toxic. I used to make soap. I used to make lavender soap with bergamot, and it was homemade lye soap. And I used to always use like a few drops of oil in it, make the whole soap smell nice. But I didn't use very much. But when you diffuse that stuff and you put it in the air, it can be very toxic. And I'm not trying to tell people not to be safe in their home. And, a lot of people will say, oh, you're talking bad about essential oils because you want people to use those dangerous pesticides. So I was like, well, really, I just want people to be safe. If the oil worked better, I would tell you to use it because that's how I am. I don't mind telling people how to get rid of their bugs safely. But when I see reports that, babies are dying in their bed from SIDS from using essential oils in the house, I don't like people using it. I've never killed a baby with the pesticides ever. It's never happened. It doesn't happen. I don't think it's happened to anyone I know. And I know a lot of exterminators because I have to get a license. I have to go in with these classes with these exterminators every 2 years and hang out with a bunch of guys, every 2 years, been doing it for 24 years 26 years really. We don't kill babies. We just don't. You hear about it in the news all the time. Oh, this company did this and they killed this baby. It doesn't happen. But essential oils do kill babies. And that's a scary thought because you could just go to Young Living or any of these other, essential oil companies and buy their oils. And then tragedy. I love babies. My wife's having a new baby in June. This will be my fifth baby. And I hold babies. I've volunteered time at Head Start just to play with the babies because I love children. I got a bunch of children. So, but anyway, it also gives my wife horrible headaches. Peppermint and cinnamon, both. My wife's actually allergic to cinnamon, and she gets horrible allergies. Like I think it might just be the synthetic cinnamon that they use on the witches' brooms around Halloween that they always put out. And every time you go to like Hobby Lobby or some like craft store or something, she's sneezing fit for days. So we usually try to stay out of those stores around like autumn time when everybody's putting out the cinnamon brooms and stuff. But we had a friend that used to have those oils out all the time. And whenever we go over, my wife would get headaches and stuff from them. And she's like, I can't be good for you if I'm getting headaches from them. I mean, why am I getting headaches from them? When I'm in there and she's diffusing these oils in there and I'm getting horrible headaches. So, that's why I'm not trying to be mean or anything or attack anybody specifically. I'm just I just want people to be informed. That's what I'm teaching people. So that's next week. I go over like the industry and the lies the industry tells you and stuff. And That's next week's video. And then I've got a new video that's going up. I haven't edited it yet. I figure I'll do my editing tomorrow. I think I got time to do editing tomorrow, get it done, and put it up for any, like I said, members get to access to the video always. They get access to it as soon as it's up. But that one's going to be the top 5 questions I get asked about treating with Crossfire, why it doesn't work, what makes it work, and how to be effective using it, stuff like that. It's a real short video. I think after I edit it, it probably won't even be 10 minutes. It's real short. I try to keep my videos under 10 minutes. That's like with the age of TikTok, people don't have attention span. I try to keep my videos short. So short and sweet and to the point. But anyway, y'all have a great night. I appreciate it. Been on here for nearly 2 hours. I'm trying to make up for the fact I went like 2 months without a live stream because it's like January and almost all of February, half of December, I wasn't here. And so I just want to try to make it up to you guys and be here for you if you need to ask questions or anything. I know there's been a lot of people wondering. I had one person even comment on one of my videos I did, said, well, I'm just glad to still see that you're alive. I thought you died. So I'm still alive. I'm still here, still kicking and still doing videos and still trying to help everybody be bug free. So y'all have a great one. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and get some music ready for you guys because usually I do like to play music out when I